What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are in a car I've been wanting to review for so long. This is a 2021 Chevrolet C8 generation Corvette with the Z51 package. I've been deeply intrigued by this car ever since it was announced, and I'm super excited to finally get the chance to drive one. The owner, Patrick, bought this car used just recently and actually paid a little bit over MSRP for it. That's the state of the car market as we know it today. So it's a C8 Stingray Coupe with the Z51 package. That package gets you all the performance goodies like the eLSD, the retuned MagneRide shocks, uprated springs, a shorter final drive, larger 19-inch front and 20-inch rear wheels with Michelin PS4S tires, upgraded cooling for the engine with a third radiator up front, and we have bigger brakes and a performance exhaust. Now that exhaust actually bumps the rated horsepower of this car from 490 up to 495 bhp. Torque is 460 pound-feet. This car weighs a little over 3,500 pounds. And apparently with launch control, it'll do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. And of course, the only choice of transmission here is an 8-speed Tremec dual clutch. There's no manual option, and that's largely because they wanted the chassis to be as stiff as possible. And this center area where a manual transmission typically would sit is actually a structural piece of the chassis. And apparently that's why there's no manual option for this car. With that out of the way, let's see how the C8 performs. What we're gonna do here is press this really nice little brushed aluminum, I guess, button on the steering wheel, and that'll set us into Z mode. In this mode, we can set the steering, suspension, engine and shift, brake feel, engine sound, and the performance traction management. So we have the steering and suspension and the brake feel in the middle setting, the engine and transmission in the maximum performance setting, and engine sound in the maximum setting. Huh. Mid-engine Corvette, what a unique concept. I've driven multiple C5s, C6s, and a C7, and all of them had a very distinctive yet familiar feel of being a front-engine rear-wheel drive car. Now this C8, in addition to the fact that it's mid-engine for the first time, it also uses a more traditional, or I guess modern, coilover suspension setup, whereas Corvettes of old used transverse leaf springs. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, that is fast. The instant response from this LT2 motor, 6.2 liters of all American goodness right behind my head. So much torque in the low end of the power band. Even from 2,500 RPM, you put your foot down and this thing just pulls like a freight train, or I should say it pushes like a freight train since the engine is now behind me. Oh my, this thing is so capable. Whew. These are genuine squeals of shock and awe. Are you kidding me? It's strange because this is a very familiar feeling and sounding engine, but everything else about it is just so different than what you'd expect, or at least what I'd expect from a Corvette. It doesn't feel like this rear traction limited beast anymore. This thing feels like a proper sports car, or dare I say supercar. It has traction for days now. You can put your foot down and the thing will just hook up. What a thing. I mean, there's no reason for me to be in second gear on this road. Oh, so much mid-corner grip. The 8-speed dual clutch is so fast. I know some reviews have said that it's not quite as quick as a PDK, but I think this is every bit as quick as a modern PDK, at least from a 991 Carrera. This thing is, oh my goodness. I did not realize the base C8 Corvette was such a capable car now. This makes the C5 C6 and even C7 feel like ancient technology. Look at that downshift, it's just instantaneous. If this is what the base C8 feels like, I cannot even begin to imagine what the Z06 feels like. This already feels like so much car, like the limits are just so incredibly high. Now I'm not getting any of that infamous understeer that some early reviews have complained about. This car really does feel very neutral on a canyon road at 7/10. And the ride quality is supreme. This is an incredibly tuned suspension. Always been a fan of MagneRide, and I think I always will be. Every single car I've driven with MagneRide shocks has been incredibly impressive from a ride comfort standpoint as well as a performance driving standpoint. The car is so well controlled in the corners. And I actually have the suspension in sport mode. Typically, a car with adaptive dampers on a bumpy road like this, it's always comfort mode, but not here. The upshifts and downshifts are so quick. This car is making me speechless. It's so strange, the feeling of being in a mid-engine car, but having an outrageous amount of low-end torque. Something I don't think I've experienced before. Brakes are excellent too, super linear and progressive pedal feel. I am not getting any understeer in this car, even in some of these tight hairpins. And if you don't pull the paddle in manual mode, it won't upshift for you. It'll just hit the rev limiter. That's great. I like knowing that I'm doing the work here. I know it's not a manual, but man, I gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed with this 8-speed Tremec dual clutch. It fits the personality and the outright performance of this car beautifully. This transmission is close to a 10 out of 10 for me. It's up there with PDK transmissions in modern Porsche GT cars. It really is. But the suspension is so much more comfortable, I would argue, than any modern GT3 or even GT4. I absolutely love this MagneRide setup. Even with the Z51 package, it feels just so good in all conditions. Now this is a very tight road and we're not really able to get this C8 to fully stretch its legs. But even on a tight road like this car feels mostly at home. It feels way more suited to this type of driving than the C7 and C6 and C5 and every Corvette before it. This feels way more nimble. The mid-engine balance of the car really transforms just how much confidence you can attack corners with. I am so impressed by the C8. I knew this car was fast, but I did not know it just felt so good to drive as well. Chevy has really transformed this thing into something altogether more mature and yet just as raucous when you want it to be. You still have a thumping 6.2 liter overhead valve V8 behind your head. The engine characteristics haven't changed really from the C7, but the way the car tackles a winding road is on a totally different level now. It really is. Now, if I had one complaint with the driving dynamics, the steering is okay. It's an EPS rack, of course. It just doesn't have a ton of feedback, but at least you can adjust the weighting to your liking. Looks like my camera battery died here, but that's fine because it's time to wrap up this review. I am mind blown by the C8 Z51. I had high expectations coming in, but those expectations were blown out of the water. There's so many firsts for a Corvette as well. Obviously the mid-engine layout, the lack of a manual transmission, the fact that you can get this with a proper dual clutch, the fact that this actually has a really upscale interior now. I think the materials and build quality in this car are a huge step up from even the C7. Let me know what you think of the C8 Corvette. I know the C8 Z06 just won Motor Trend's Performance Vehicle of the Year, and I would love the opportunity to review one of those for my channel. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the C8 and how it compares to prior generations of Corvettes. Subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you in the next one.